What does it mean to live a resilient life? I'm Ryan Mannion. I lost my brother to war and my mom to cancer, and I've learned a lot about myself along the way. Now, as the CEO of Travis Mannion Foundation, I'm on a journey to explore what it means to be resilient against life's many challenges. Join me and some incredible guests as we ask ourselves the hard questions and define what it means to struggle well. All right, we are back with another episode of the Resilient Life podcast. We've got a late night in the studio tonight because our guest, Jackson Perkins, finished formation, hopped in his car in DC, and drove all the way here. And I was saying, I don't know how to intro you. I mean, I think my favorite thing about you is that you are a graduate of the United States Naval Academy, but you are, gosh, that's not my favorite. You're also a Marine, and you're a country music artist. Yeah. And I heard through the grapevine, we may see you at the biggest and best Army Navy tailgate in 2026.
That may be true.
That's rumor on the street. Well, thanks for joining us.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
This is awesome. So we were just talking about the Mannion Wad. Jackson's going to be doing that this year with us. First year. It's going to be a burner.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've been training as hard as I can, but like you said, I got up to 5 sets of 25 right now.
Yeah.
It's feeling good, but it's definitely the day of is going to be rough.
Yeah. Listen, anybody who complains about our Mannion Wad when they're like, it's going to hurt, I always respond like, that's the point.
That is the point.
The point is for it to hurt. So, all right. Well, there's so much I want to talk about with you, but I want to take it all the way back to your high school days, figuring out what you want to do.
We're going way back.
Yeah, we're going way back. I mean, not that far back. You're pretty young, but you grew up in Illinois. Okay. I wasn't able to. So what's the military history within your family?
Oh, man. Well, my grandparents served for a short amount of time. So we didn't really have a military family per se, just because it was more the time period for them.
Yeah.
My grandfather served in the Army.
Okay.
And then both my grandparents on my dad's side served in the Air Force. It's actually where they met. So growing up, I just appreciated the military. Never really thought I would be a service member until high school, actually. So. And
football took you towards that path?
Definitely. Actually, this is kind of funny. I wrote like a little letter to myself in like 7th grade.
Uh-huh.
And I think it was like, I want to be a NBA basketball player, soldier, country music singer, and a race car driver.
Okay.
So I feel like
you just got to get a race car. And you've completed it all.
Well, football took the place of basketball.
Yeah.
But, the other two.
Did you play basketball in high school as well?
I did, yeah.
Okay.
So I was trying to choose between college football and college basketball, but obviously football, there's more spots. You get some better opportunities. Yeah. Basketball is really hard, especially with that roster.
So Navy kind of comes creeping around. They're looking at you. And are you familiar with, because, coming from the parent who had a daughter recruited to play sports at the Naval Academy, like, what did you know at the time about Navy?
I knew nothing.
Okay.
They came to visit me at school, and the coaches were like, yeah, it's normal school. You just wear a uniform, and the coach told me that's not with the program anymore.
Yeah.
They do tell you a lot of details, but that's what I gathered from it. I probably wasn't paying attention. But I'm like, yeah, military school, no way, man. I'm going to go.
So you weren't interested at all?
No, absolutely not. I had my sights set on the Big Ten.
Okay.
If I didn't go to Navy, I probably would have went to the University of Illinois.
Okay.
But, some of my dad's friends were like, man, he got an appointment to the Naval Academy. That's really awesome. How is he not taking that right away? So I'm like, let me think about this for a second. So I visited with my friend Blake Holly, who played football with me in high school, and we both committed the same day when we visited. Wow.
So when you got there, were you like...
I was just floored with how cool it was.
Yeah.
And really I felt like an obligation to serve, really. growing up, similar with a lot of football players and athletes alike, you get told you're like a natural born leader. And I felt like I needed to go there to really hone in those skills. And I feel like I was given some talents in that area naturally. So I felt like it was on me to, if not me, then who?
There you
Come
go.
on.
I love it. I love it. Well, and I'm curious. So again, I always, I talk about my daughter she's a youngster there right now. And she knew a lot about the Naval Academy. Like she grew up down there. She, I mean, when she was little, 4 or 5 years old, she'd say, I want to go to this school. But the difference with her is I think she had like everything she thought she knew about the Naval Academy was not what the Naval Academy actually was when she got there. So I always say there's something almost better about someone like you who really knows nothing, right? And you get there and you're like, okay, because she had on like rose-colored glasses. She saw all the good stuff. The football games, the tailgates, the camaraderie. Like she just didn't see what life was like as a midshipman. And she got there and like, her plebe year was tough. Like she had some tough times plebe year. And she's made it to the other side. I said, I saw a complete change in her when that cover hit the top of Herndon, and all of a sudden she was like, all right, plebe no more.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But how, like when you got there, what were you just like, what the heck did I get myself into?
Oh, gosh. Yeah. I mean, that first phone call home in plebe summer, I'm telling my parents like, I am out of here as soon as plebe summer's over. Like I'm going to transfer, because I'm not a quitter. I'm going to finish this plebe summer out. Just because it was such a culture shock, and you go along and then you kind of get a little used to it and you start to like it. And obviously became really close to my classmates or company mates and
what
teammates. What
company were you in?
I was in 12th company to start.
Okay.
And then finished out with 27th company the last 2 years.
Okay.
But the first weekend, I didn't know there was weekend liberty like rules. I'm thinking I'm going to fly home on the first weekend home, like the first bye week for football. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to go on a trip. And they're like, nope, noon to midnight in your uniform. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
No coaches told me this.
Yeah. Well, they tell you the good stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, you graduated in 21. I'm thinking that wasn't a great time against Army, right? Your 4 years. What was your record with Army?
No, I was 1-3 as a player. We won my junior year handily. That was great. 2019.
Yeah.
And then I was 1-0 as a coach, as my TAD year.
Okay.
Graduate assistant. So 2-3 total.
2-3. Okay. And last 2 years were 2-0. So we're going to keep the streak alive. Yeah. But I was thinking about that because, Travis was there kind of during like the glory days. I think it was like 14 years in a row. Don't quote me, but like 12, 13, 14 years. Like we would go, I remember going to Army Navy games and being like, oh God, I hope it's a game. Like, maybe Army needs to win one year. Like the
exciting.
thought, like there was like it was like, of course Navy's going to win. So I like that the rivalry is, the rivalry is always there, but like, you never know walking in every year what's going to happen. Yeah.
Never know. Yeah. That junior year one was really special.
Yeah.
Just because we felt like we really earned it.
Yeah.
Coming back.
What position did you play?
I was defensive end.
Okay.
So I started off 225 pounds, soaking wet as like a freshman. Didn't get to dress freshman year. That definitely left a mark because they used to put the freshmen in the stands, as you're familiar. Yeah, so you wear your normal uniform, military uniform in the stands. So your classmates will see you and be like, Perkins,
I thought you were on the football team.
What are you doing? Yeah, you're on the football team. And I'm like, oh God, no one look at me, So that definitely makes you work really hard in your off time. So made the travel team as a sophomore, was third string, got some playing time in a few games, and then started junior, senior year.
That's awesome. Yeah. How many, I'm always interested in this, like, the Naval Academy, for those that don't know, it's different than other schools, there's going to be a lot of attrition over the course of those 4 years. Do you remember any specific things where, friends of yours were leaving the team or leaving school, and like what did that look like? And
Man, well, it is such a unique school because if someone tells you they didn't think about going somewhere else at a certain point in time, they're lying to you. Just because it's meant to challenge you. You're supposed to feel that way. You're supposed to feel like it's easier outside the walls because it is.
Yeah.
In some ways not.
Yeah.
But it is a shame seeing some of your teammates dwindle away.
Yeah.
As you go along for a multitude of reasons, However, that also builds a very strong bond with the ones who do stay and graduate, and then you end up serving together. Like I think of guys like Toby Okafor, who was my freshman locker mate. Like we did not get along at all freshman year. I say he was really mean to me. He will dispute that. But we were D-line together, and just keep going along. We end up being roommates in the summer, and then we get to senior year. We're playing next to each other on the line. And then we were both TAD coaches together. We both go to TBS together. We were both in 29 Palms together. Now we're both at Marine Barracks, Washington together. We're roommates. So I reflect on that, and I have many friends like that, that we've had so many shared experiences. And I reflect on it, and I think about the other paths I could have taken.
Yep.
And there's no way I'd have that strong of bonds with people doing something else and going through a different pipeline. So super, super thankful for what the Naval Academy and the Marine Corps has given to me. I'm blessed with some great friends.
If you could look back on your time at Navy, and if, again, of course, like everyone goes through those periods of, I don't want to be here, or I'm thinking about something different, but like, is there a moment in time where you that was the most challenging time there? Like, or a situation or something that happened that kind of deeply affected you?
I would say COVID was a rough time because we had COVID for our junior going into senior year. So I'm cutting you off, but
I actually spoke. So I give a brief every year with Brian Stan. I don't know if you know who Brian Stan is. He was a football player at Navy, Marine, Silver Star recipient, UFC fighter. And we give a brief to the junior class. And I remember the year we came in during COVID, you guys were all in masks. We gave it in Alumni Hall, and you guys had just gotten your COVID shots. And I remember the young girl that introduced me, got up to introduce Brian and I, and she was like, there were sweat dripping down her forehead. And I said, "Are you okay?" And she goes, "No, ma'am, I think I have a very high fever, or I'm having a reaction to the vaccine." And I just remember looking out into the sea of all these midshipmen wearing masks. And again, you guys had all gotten your COVID vaccines that day. So you're all feeling like crap. And I'm like, I feel so bad for these kids sitting here. It was tough.
Yeah, it was rough. And I'm such a social person. So it was really tough to be locked in your room. And then when you're playing football, it's like we're doing these weird practices where you're not hitting, or there's a shield between you. And we did struggle in the beginning of that season, which made it, 10 times harder, just because usually after any type of game, win or lose, you bond with your teammates.
Yeah.
And you guys all hang out. You talk about it, you kind of blow off some steam and get back into the week of work, but you just get put back in the pen. And they're delivering food to your door, so very strange.
Yeah. So that was a tough time. So you commission into the Marine Corps upon graduation. And I mean, I've got to ask, when did you come to the realization that you wanted to go Marine?
I actually got there. My dad, when I got recruited, he's like, they're going to make you want to be some Navy SEAL kind of guy. And I'm like, no, I'm going to be on a ship, I think. I want to drive a ship. And then within the first couple of weeks of being around the football team, there's such a like heavy Marine influence.
Yeah.
And you see the guys that I looked up to the most ended up going Marine infantry. And I'm like, that's who I want to be. And we have obviously the Marine representative on the team, kind of like the director of player personnel or player development. And we had Captain Blick, who was an artillery officer. Then we had Ross Pospisil, who was an infantry officer. And those guys were just absolute studs. And I'm like, that's exactly who I want to try to be one day. So.
Yeah. So you commission, you go to TBS, and tell us a little bit. I mean, you're still in the Marine Corps, but tell us a little bit about like what that path looked like for you.
So for TBS, I got a lot of mentorship from my buddy Ford Higgins. I'm not sure if you've ever met Ford. We're probably my best friend, but he mentored me like every step of the way because he's a year ahead. He was a class of 20 graduate.
Okay.
And he's like, there's no other option other than infantry. Like you walk in the door, you say you want infantry, and like you stick to it and never waver. And so going throughout, I was trying to just chase him the whole time, and he told me all about his success and failures there. And I tried to beat him out as much as I could. So by the end of it, I think I ended up one spot higher than him on the ranking system.
There you go. But you know, from what I've come to know, you know, so Travis, my brother, he graduated very high in his TBS class, like top 5% of his TBS class, and infantry was number 1, of course. And they said, thanks, Guy, you're a logistics officer. So even chasing that, it doesn't always matter.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you may want to be here, but we're putting you here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know, it's such a, I love TBS.
Yeah.
And it was, I think, 7 months for us. But it's so fun. It's like, if you really apply yourself to the program too, it's like a ton of fun. Especially.
Okay. This is not the norm that just,
I loved it.
I mean, yeah. You're a bit of a anomaly here saying TBS is fun. I loved it. Like, I mean,
I did.
Okay, well, tell me one thing that was super challenging for, like,
it was definitely challenging.
Did you walk around with this big grin on your face for 7 months? You probably did, didn't you?
I did.
Oh my God. I mean, maybe that's part of it, right? Like the mental state that you kept yourself in.
Definitely.
Probably helped you, right?
Yeah, it's definitely gets miserable at times.
Yeah.
But the coolest thing is coming back from especially like a tough field op, when you've never done that before. Like, you know, it's your first time being in the field for a week. And it was just this up and down, really mostly down week of being in the cold or being in the hot blazing sun. But then you come back and it's the most euphoric feeling of all time. Like, especially after a hike, you're just muddy and you're cleaning your weapons.
Yeah.
In the barracks, it's just
a sense of accomplishment.
You can't beat the feeling. No,
yeah.
It's great.
All right. Well, like, tell me one thing that like put a frown on your face at TBS. There had to be something.
I'm trying to think.
Or let's take it outside of TBS. Let's take it in like, what's been something that's challenged you during your time in the Marine Corps?
Oh, a lot has challenged. Yeah, a lot has challenged me. I would say the leadership experience is part of the reason I joined the Marine Corps. Mm-hmm. Just like the raw leadership style, or I guess I'll redo that. The leadership experience that you get in the Marine Corps was one of the main reasons I was drawn to it, especially the infantry. And the Marines themselves are fantastic, and they will, let me redo this. I'm trying to say basically that there's just so many unexpected challenges I faced that I did not have any preparation for. Like insurance stuff, or Marines totals a car, or they're getting married or they're having a kid. And it's all these life experiences that you get through your Marines, and you have to study up, and you have to like basically be a male role model in their life if they don't have one. And that's forced me to grow up a lot and figure out how to do these things.
Well, I always think that's what's so interesting about, even like at a service academy, like you guys know that and you're young and you're graduating and you're going to be entering the fleet and you're going to have a ton of young men and women that you're in charge of. Like that's an awesome responsibility when you think about it. Did you understand the gravity of that and your time? Because I always wondered, I'm on the yard so much, and I mean, everybody there is so impressive, but I'm like, do they understand that when they graduate in a couple months, like what they are going to be responsible for is probably more than any 21 or 22-year-old kid in the entire country. Like, it's an awesome responsibility.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I don't think I was, we say we do understand it, but
you don't.
You don't. And I still think I still don't fully understand it. Serving in the Marine Corps and not having gone to combat, I think that there's a whole plethora that you learn going through that as well. However, I think you just start to learn very quickly how much responsibility you do have when you're thrown in front of the platoon, and you are in charge of it every day, in charge of the Marines' daily lives. It's like, all right, better figure this out.
And not only that, but like you're in charge of people who are so much more senior than you in terms of how long they've been in the Marine Corps, their age, their experience. Like, I mean, there has to be a factor where it's a little bit intimidating too, to some degree.
Definitely. And I think the senior enlisted leaders of the Naval Academy do a good job of prepping the mids to listen to their senior staff NCOs and their NCOs. However, to push them in the right direction as well. And I think I got a ton of mentorship on that. And that's the typical thing that you hear with officers too. Like, they don't listen to their enlisted, or on the flip side, they listen to everything that their enlisted say and don't have a backbone, right? And it's because the reason you're there ultimately is to make decisions.
Yeah.
So I felt like I got a lot of good mentorship growing up through the Naval Academy with that, and was very blessed with a lot of really solid staff NCOs and NCOs that worked super hard, and we had great relationships. So.
Can you think back to like one of the toughest decisions that you had to make?
I think the hardest decision that I've had to make, I've made it a lot of times, and it's the decision to fire somebody, especially when they're well liked in the platoon, because you can have Marines that have they're very influential, and they're really good Marines. However, they start to go down a path that is bringing the platoon in the wrong direction. And so that's definitely a lull for the platoon when you have a very influential leader that you have to unfortunately remove because of something that's happened or something that a decision they chose to make. However, it is a great experience too, because you get to see the younger Marines step up and fill the gaps, and time again throughout the Marine Corps, that's happened. Yeah. And someone's always stepping up to the challenge. So that is a difficult decision that many leaders make every day. However, that's definitely one that's tough for me.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. All right. I know why I believe that the Marine Corps is the best service branch in the country, but I want to hear why you think that.
I think we're just gung-ho. You know what I mean? Like, we thrive in the suck. Like we were talking about earlier, I love TBS. And I like, it sucks. But the Marines are happy about it, which is so funny. It's like, obviously we have some weird things in our brain that lets us enjoy it.
What's the differentiator? Because like there is, listen, I'm obviously I did not serve in the Marine Corps, but like surrounded by Marines my entire life. And there is something very special.
There is.
About the Marine Corps. And I'm asking you because I'm trying to, like, I can't if someone said that to me, like, I can't put my finger on it either. But I'm always just like, there's just something special about the Marine Corps.
There is. And you know, it's funny. Like, I've always thought that people like Navy SEALs have something off in their brain in a great way. My roommate, the Naval Academy, is a SEAL now. And there was just something off about him when it came to like PT. Like, he could do 150 push-ups or whatever in a row. I'm like, dude, there's something wrong with you. But I think Marines have the wire that's messed up, that when it comes to like sucky stuff in the field, you know? Like, I think that me and the boys could go out to the field for 12 days with a bunch of MREs, and then we're just coming back smiling on a hike, you know? Just like really cold and miserable. I think the Marines like that a lot.
They like the sock?
They do. I don't know. It's a pride thing.
It is I think that is, like, I think there is a lot of pride in the Marine Corps. I think that is something that is, listen, there's a lot of pride in serving in any service branch in the military, for sure. But there is something about the pride that I see Marines carry and saying, like, yeah, I was a Marine. And I also think a lot of that is like the tightness of the Marine Corps. I mean, we could sit here and in 5 minutes we'll name 15 people that we jointly know that served in the Marine Corps, you know, whether your generation or my brother's, you know what I mean? And I think that's the beauty of it. And it was interesting. I had Sergeant Major Ruiz here, and we were having the same conversation about what makes the Marine Corps so special. And the history and the legacy of the Marine Corps is something that is so forefront at all times. Like, when you were going through TBS, I'm sure you were hearing stories of Marines that came before you.
Absolutely. And you think, like, how could I ever measure up, you know? And that's what everyone has thought throughout history, I think. And you hear the stories about guys like John Basilone. But John Basilone at one point had never gone to combat. You know, that's something that they reassured us. They're like, you guys have the skills and have the attitude to go after it and succeed when the time matters. It just comes to your preparation now. So, but yeah, definitely hearing the history of the Marine Corps, it makes you feel like you're standing on the shoulders of giants, for real. So
yeah, I love that. Okay, so you're still serving in the Marines. You're down at 8th and I. So someone was asking me, and I was trying to think. I've been to many. I've been the guest of honor at an evening parade at 8th and I. It's there is a certain requirement physically for you to be an 8th and I Marine. What is it?
it is. It's 6'2".
6'2". Okay, I said 6'3", so 6'2".
6'2" for the male Marines, but there's waivers as well.
Oh, there are.
Yes, there is.
Okay,
but I definitely passed the
you hit the 6'2"
requirement. Yes.
And so you're out there, are you part of like the silent drill team when they're going by at the parades and stuff? If I'm watching a parade, am I going to see you out there?
So if you're watching a parade, I will be on the right side in the middle. So I'm Bravo 2 platoon commander.
Okay.
So we got.
And you have your first parade coming up on April 24th.
April 24th.
I know. I got an invite for it.
First time marching.
Is it?
Yeah, it's my first time on the parade deck. So.
Oh my gosh. I enjoy nothing more than going to a parade at 8th and I. It is so, I mean, obviously you've seen them. This will be your first one participate. There's something so special about those, and just, oh gosh, I can't explain it. And I've been to dozens and dozens, and it never gets old.
Absolutely.
And yeah.
Well, what we try to tell the Marines too, because it is tough telling, the Marines that go to infantry training and then they go to the barracks and they have to drill. Like, they want to go get in the field, shoot more guns. We still do that. However, our main mission is ceremonial drill.
Yeah.
So what we try to tell them, and what really is portrayed in the parades, is we're telling a story to the public. And the story is discipline, tradition, and history. And you see the precision of the Marines out there, and it really makes you feel good as an American citizen. Like, okay, we have some Marines that know what they're doing. Oh. And because you can't really show the public all of the military training that you do, but I think that what we do at the barracks is a really good example of what the Marine Corps stands for.
I could not agree more. I remember the first parade that I was ever at, and I just remember, and I was young, and I remember being there, and all the Marines were lined up, and there's the big hedges. You know, you've got like the building, there's the bleachers and the buildings behind you, and you've got all the big hedges, and the Marines are lined up as, you know, people are like, the guests are walking out, guests of honor, and the senior Marines are walking out. And I just remember seeing one of the Marines, I think his knees were locked and he just fell backwards.
Oh, gosh.
And as quickly as he fell, you just see him pulled through the hedges. And they just like, and I was like, this is,
That's
and I
hilarious.
was like, what happened? And my dad's like, shh, that's what they do. He locked his knees, you know, like, quiet down. But I think you capture that. Like, that is what you get when you walk away from that, like, the tradition, the discipline, the story. Like, it tells the story. Yeah, that's awesome. All right,
kinetic out there. Yeah,
I
sometimes.
promise you I will be at a parade this summer so I can catch you. Yes.
All right.
Absolutely.
I love it.
So you're down at 8th and I, and let's talk about, like, you're still active duty. Still, I mean, listen, we're recording at 10 o'clock at night because you had to go to formation tonight and then drive up from DC. But you also are a country music artist.
Yes.
And you're doing pretty well.
I'd like to think so.
I'm watching videos of you with Riley Green. I was showing Sean and he was like, oh man, he played with Riley Green? That's big time. I'm like, yeah. So where did that start? Take us back to the beginning.
Yeah, we have to go way back.
Way back. Take us way back. When's the first time you picked up a guitar?
Oh, well, throughout my youth, I picked up a guitar and picked on it, but I never really like played it.
Okay.
However, my parents had a huge influence on me when it came to music.
Okay.
Both my parents went to Memphis State.
Okay.
Down in Memphis, Tennessee. My dad's whole family is from that area, and growing up, it was always George Jones playing in the house stereo system, and Josh Turner, and a lot of these old country singers, Don Williams, Keith Whitley. I'm like, you know, I'm a little kid singing these George Jones songs, like have no business knowing what these are. However, I was never really a musical kid. I never really played any instruments until college. My roommate, who's a Navy SEAL, actually decided to pick up the guitar one day and learn it. And I'm like, you know, I'll learn with you. I think it was sophomore year of college. And I quickly became very obsessed with it.
And just self-taught.
YouTube, you know.
Yeah, but you're just playing in your room.
Playing in my room.
Playing in Bancroft Hall.
Bancroft Hall, 3 hours a night after football practice, then homework after that. And my roommates have their pillows over their ears, like, shut up, dude. But I loved it so much, and I was enthralled by it. So I made some goals throughout, one of them being the talent show for the Navy football team. So we did it one year, me, Ford Higgins, and Paul Carruthers played a talent show with the guitar, and then it was me and Ford again next year playing. And I wanted to play a gig out in Annapolis before I left town.
Okay.
So that was the goal. So I think I played a pop-up shop for my sponsor mom's friend over in Annapolis. You know, people coming through.
What, at her store?
At her store, background music. However, I was big stuff for me. I think it paid me like $40. It was awesome. And then I was going to these open mics at Stan and Joe's, which was so awesome. Like, people are so supportive. And when I think about it, my first time.
Were you playing original music or cover?
Covers.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Covers. And my first time, you get up to the microphone and it's just you and the guitar. And, you know, no music's coming out if you're not playing and singing. So it was horrible. But my friends were very supportive and the whole community was clapping. And I was shaking so bad. Like, it was crazy. But the more you do it, the easier it gets. So fast forward to TBS, I am at a brewery called Barley Naked with some buddies in the Marine Corps. And we're
down in Quantico.
Down in Stafford,
okay.
right there. Yep. And a guy was playing guitar for the brewery. And my buddy's like, hey, let our buddy play. So I get up there after he's done. And I play In Color, which is actually the song I played with Riley Green too. And so that was the only song I played that night, and the crowd loved it. And the owner actually asked me if I could come play for some money on the weekend. So did a couple of gigs there, which is amazing. I never thought I would be getting paid, $75. I think that was those gigs.
There you go.
And then throughout my time in 29 Palms, I would play, but not really a bunch of gigs. But moving cross country from 29 Palms to DC last spring, we went to Stagecoach in California right before we left.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I just felt like that was what I was supposed to do.
That was your call.
I'm like, I can totally do this, and I love it. I love live music, and I'm like, I can definitely see myself doing this. So I said, I'm going to be a country music singer, and I'm going to start playing my guitar more, writing music, and social media was the big kind of thing that I had to conquer, I think, because I was never a social media guy, really. I kept it private, didn't let any of the Marines follow my accounts, because I didn't, it's hard. The Marine Corps, that's not how we're bred. It's like the infantry officer course, the main thing they tell you on your book, on the front of it, is it's not about me.
Yeah.
And on the back, it's if not me, then who? And so it seems very counterintuitive to that. And I was very nervous to kind of put myself out there, thinking that it may come off in the wrong way. However, I decided to do it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna chase this thing, and we'll see how it goes. So driving across country, I'm watching YouTube videos in the passenger seat as Toby's driving about songwriting and learning the fretboard of the guitar, really some music theory stuff. And we stop in Nashville. And when we're in Nashville, I'm getting...
On your way from 29 Palms to DC.
Yes.
To check into your new duty station.
Yep, we had to stop in Nashville for a little trip. And there was so many signs that I had to chase the dream. One being, we went to Station Inn, which is like this very old spot that they play bluegrass music at. And the first song we hear is called Jackson's Ride. And I'm like, this is it. This is a sign. Thank you. And I ended up going back to Nashville for Marine Week Nashville. And also to do some volunteer work for the Creative Vets with Richard Casper.
Yep. I know Richard.
CMA Fest.
Awesome.
And that week was crazy. I mean, we met Riley Green, Zach Top, Gavin Adcock, Jordan Davis. Tom Hanks was like sitting right here that week. I don't know. I could go on and on about that week. That it would definitely probably bore you, but.
And did you play that week?
I did play that week, actually.
Okay. We
were walking around in our Marine uniform, and some guy came out on the Broadway playing a Stratocaster, trying to get people in the bar, and I'm like, I could play that thing, because our mission there was to interact with the public. So I put the guitar on and started playing, and I think someone took a video, and it went like kind of viral on TikTok. And so that's another sign. I'm like, okay, I think there's something here. And then I ended up playing actually in that bar later for some of the Marines on a little acoustic song. I think I played Semper Fi by Trace Atkins and Adam Warner.
That's a good song.
Yeah. But I mean, it keeps going if you want to hear.
Well, I mean, let's fast forward to where you are now. I follow you on social media, and you've got gigs every week. Like, you're playing all the time.
Yeah.
So how do you go from that to where you are now? Well, first of all, how do you end up on stage with Riley Green?
Yeah, that was crazy.
In your uniform.
So we were so after Marine Week Nashville, I got requested to come to Marine Week Chicago, because we did a good job there. So they're like, let's do it again in Chicago. So that week there was the Windy City Smokeout. And I actually had gotten a backstage pass to the concert. And I'm looking at the pass, and it says artist guest. And I'm like, this is a backstager. Like, I'm going back there. And I see on Sunday Riley Green's playing. And so I'm hanging out with Ford Higgins, and he's like, and I say, dude, how cool would it be to play a song with Riley Green? Because I've went to Riley's concerts back in high school. And I love his music, and someone that influences me a lot and my style. And he's like, make it happen. And if you know Fort Higgins, he's like so in your face about it, super supportive. He's like, make it happen, dude. Look up the set list right now. So we look it up, and sure enough, In Color is on his set list, and he covers that in every show. And that was the only song at the time that I had memorized, which
You're
is
like,
crazy.
I know that one, yeah.
That's the only one I knew by heart, because you have your phone that has the chords and stuff like that. And I just learned that by heart 2 weeks ago, but had been playing it for years, even in those Virginia bars. And so I'm backstage and I see Riley come up. And so I went up to him and asked him, hey, Riley, let's play a song together.
And he brought you out.
Yeah, he thought about it for a second. I'm like, let's do In Color. And he's like, yeah. And then, so I started singing the song. He's like, all right, man, yeah, we'll bring you on second verse. Let's do it.
That's awesome.
So he was super, I mean, the guy's awesome.
So you're Marine during the week and Jackson Perkins country music artist on the weekends.
Yeah, I mean, even during the week too. I just try to maximize my off time as much as I can.
So what's the goal?
I would say the goal is to keep doing both as well as I can. I think last summer it was crazy, and it was definitely hard to balance both. Mm-hmm. I would be lying if I said it wasn't. However, I do think I've grown a lot since, in that short amount of time since, where I've found this balancing point to where I can definitely put my all into being a Marine all the time, but, you know, putting my all in at work, and then also maximizing my off time to chase the neon rainbow.
Zach Bryan, okay? Mm-hmm. Zach Bryan's a country music artist, and I believe he got out of his he kind of started blowing up, and I think he was still in a contract with the Navy, and they gave him an early release essentially to.
Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah. A lot of people bring that up. They're like, are you going to pull a Zach Bryan?
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of I feel like I try to represent the Marine Corps wherever I go in a positive light. I see it working very well together. Mm-hmm. Granted, the Marine Corps hasn't necessarily condoned any of my country music per se, and they have allowed me to pursue it in my off time, which I'm really thankful for. So I don't really see there being a decision point in that aspect of, you know, if you keep playing country music, you got to get out of the Marine Corps, because I do think that they accomplish a mission, especially being at Marine Barracks, Washington, where we're a public-facing unit. And represent the Marine Corps. I think that I try to take a piece of that, and every time I'm playing live, to let people know that the Marines can do it all. Yeah. Come on, we can play some music.
Listen, I love it. And so you brought your guitar with you, but I had my dad, I interviewed my dad from our Memorial Day episode last year, and we were really just kind of sitting here and spitting out funny stories about Travis. And one of the things we always said is, like, Travis was this jack of all trades, and he like dabbled in a little bit of everything. And one of those was he liked to play the guitar. So I went in with Sean, and we went into our unfinished part of the basement, and that was Travis's guitar from the Naval Academy.
No way.
Yeah. So I looked it up. I'm going to hand it to you, but I looked it up. I think, hold on. It's not, here, I'll let you open it up. It's, right. I think it's like a beginner. When I looked it up, I think it's like a beginner guitar. It's like a Jasmine something. We looked it up, like what it was, but.
There's no such thing as a bad guitar. They're all good.
But it's like it's a beginner guitar, I should say.
All right, yeah.
It's when I
by Takumi.
Yeah, when I Googled it, it said that it was like a perfect like beginning guitar.
It's a lot of tune.
Well, I mean, I would imagine it's out of tune. I don't think it's been played since 2005.
Yeah. Wow, this is really special.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
So I thought, I was like, I literally was here with Sean, and I said, I have to go grab Travis's. I mean, I haven't opened that bag in 18 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, you can see the pick marks on here.
Yeah. So
She's definitely strumming some
I
party
thought
songs.
I thought you would enjoy that. That's been played in Bancroft
Wow,
Hall too.
that is awesome.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to tune this thing up after and play it a little bit.
Yeah. Good
Do
stuff.
you remember any songs you'd play on here?
Oh, so we were laughing. So, Travis and I had Travis was really into, I guess you would call it classic rock. I mean, we went to a ton of Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young shows together. He loved Creedence Clearwater Revival.
CCR,
that, that was kind of his genre. But he also would write originals. And there was this song he used to play, and now he didn't write originals like you. Like, he would write fun. He had a song called like Orange Sherbet, and it was all about his love of orange sherbet ice cream. And so he
Those are the best songs sometimes.
And I remember being like, you know, my parents, us being down at the beach, and like we're sitting on the dock, and my dad would be like, Travis, I think we need to hear Orange Sherbet. And he'd be like, you got it, Dad. And he'd like bring that guitar out and start playing it. And so we loved music growing up too. Like, I grew up with my dad, you know, anytime something new came out, like he was always buying the cassette. I remember driving and Travis and I knowing all the words to like Tracy Chapman Fast Car.
Oh yeah.
And just like my dad had the windows down and we're all just singing Tracy Chapman. But I always say that, you know, the first song my dad made sure that my brother and I had memorized was the Marine Corps hymn. So like I have videos of us when we were like 3-4 years old in, you know, in Quantico. We lived in Stafford for a while, like singing the Marine Corps hymn. So yeah. So we were a musical family as well.
I love
it.
That's a great one to know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so we talked a little bit about, like, I think you do such a tremendous job of, like, again, just following you on social media and watching the way that I think you say very well. Like, I think you do a good job, and I always am very appreciative of people that wear our nation's uniform, but also show, like, all the different aspects of who you can be as, and, you know, that you can have hobbies, that you can have different things going on, and you can still serve your country, you know, like, it's a little bit of like, you can be both, you know?
Absolutely. I would say it's almost imperative to do both.
Yeah.
Because I think everything that you do outside of the Marine Corps helps you a little bit. And maybe you attack different hard decisions with a different perspective or different skill set that you've learned. And I look at music as the ultimate way to connect to people. And personally, like, connecting with others, I'm a super extrovert. We just did this thing at the Marine Barracks called the 4 lenses. I'm not sure if you ever heard that.
No.
It's kind of like the Myers-Briggs personality test.
Okay.
But the orange is the ultimate extrovert, and I'm like neon orange when I took the test. But I think that the Marine Corps has helped me, or I'm sorry, I think music's helped me a lot with learning how to connect to different people, whether it's meeting them or through music. And that definitely helps when it comes to being a platoon commander, because everyone says it's a people business for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely trying to sharpen those skills on or off work.
So I always think about, like, I mean, I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you, and, you know, one of the things I always talk about with people on this show is, like, what living a resilient life looks like. Like, how do you show up every day? And, you know, I feel like I want to ask you that question, but I also want to say, like, I feel like I've seen it. I've never kind of sat down with anyone in this chair who's had more of an infectious personality of just like positivity. And I'm saying that as a super compliment to you, you know? And so, you know, when you think about what being resilient means and living a resilient life and like overcoming adversity and challenges, like, I'm sitting here like, tell me, like, crap, if I had my daughter here and I was like, tell me something that was tough about Navy, she'd rattle off 47,000 things that, you know, made her enter the suck, and you're like, it was fun, you know? So
well, hindsight tends to vary the struggles a lot.
That's true. What do they say about the Naval Academy? They said it's the worst place you're when you're there, and it's the best place you'll ever leave, or something.
It's a bad place to be at, good place to be from.
Yes, there it is. Yeah, I totally screwed that up, but that's what it is. Yeah, so she's still bad. She's still in the bad place to be at, right? But when you think about the idea of resiliency, let's start there. Do you think about the idea of being resilient?
Absolutely. And I think, obviously, like we talked about, I looked back at my time at the Naval Academy fondly, but there was definitely a lot of struggles.
Yeah.
And especially in TBS and IOC was definitely very, very challenging. My Marine Corps career has too. However, I feel like I was actually thinking about this the other day, and I think that when you choose a harder path, it helps you when it comes down to tough times in the road, because you're purposefully putting yourself on the more challenging path, so that when it comes up unexpectedly, you have the skills to handle it. And I think about the positivity aspect we talked about, and Ernest Shackleton. Have you ever read Endurance?
No.
By Alfred Lansing. Ernest Shackleton was a shipboat captain for an expedition going down to the Antarctic in like I think it was 1914 they took off. But their mission basically was to be the first ones to cross the Antarctic continent by foot with some sled dogs and such. And I'll spare a lot of the details. However, the real power of the story is in the details, so I encourage you to look it up after. But they get stuck in the ice, 28 crew members. They go through all of these challenges to eventually make it back to land after 2 years, and every crew member survives. But Ernest Shackleton's legacy was he was optimistic to a fault. One of his quotes was, "Optimism is true moral courage, especially in the face of adversity and reverses," or something like that. Because I personally feel a lot of conviction when talking about optimism, because as a leader, you need to have your head up. Like if we're on a patrol and you're the one leading the patrol and your head's down, what do you think everybody else is doing behind you? Yeah. They're probably crawling. So if there's gonna be one person in the formation that needs to be resilient and needs to have their head up and be optimistic about the future, it's got to be the leader, and not, it can't be an idealist either. Obviously, you need to have be grounded in some way. But I'm always going to believe that there's a way to make it happen. So
I love that. All right. Can we end it by you? This is an untuned guitar, but can you pull out your guitar and play us a little something?
You want to tune this one up real quick?
If you want to tune it up real quick, let's do it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Okay.
Miles to go. Headlights cut across the blacktop. Breath fogs the windows in the night. Radio hums the George Jones love song. I chase the taillights out of sight, and I got miles to go before I'm home. Rivers to cross and towns unknown, and this road keeps calling me, so I can't stay long. I got miles to go, and I keep rolling on. Come on. You guys are getting me going now. I want to play a little something.
You're good. Woo!
Appreciate it.
Yeah, good stuff.
So
good.
Like
that was awesome.
A little twangy.
Yeah, I
You got
love
some
it.
Ace to it.
All right, so where can people find you?
Well, I'm always on Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
And I'm always at the Marine Barracks. So I encourage people to come out this summer. And
I think important for people to know that, the parades are open to the public.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thousands of people come every Friday.
Yeah.
Every Friday night from this April 24th. Well, this is the Friends and Family one. but this May to the end of August. So I encourage everybody to come out. And then also we'll be putting out some music soon.
Putting out some original music.
Absolutely.
All right. And the most important gig that you have in all of 2026
Yes.
will be at Army Navy Travis Manning Foundation tailgate.
Come on.
We'll
We're
see you
excited.
there. Yeah.
Go Navy.
Go Navy. Jackson, thanks so
We'll be
much
there.
for joining us.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's been awesome.